Guys, it's Epic Underworlds, and this is episode 2 of me trying to make my own manga slash comic. In the last video, I showed you guys how I started working on this comic, and I transferred these digital pages, or these physical pages onto the digital medium. That worked really well because if I didn't like a specific panel, I could just delete it because each one was a separate image on a separate layer. So let's say I didn't like that panel, which I don't like it. I'm going to redraw this and put it in place with a different art, which is super nice about using Procreate. I finally finished page 2, which, it really builds up the story. We have Ral talking to his neighbor Eva, which is the only other main character in the story so far, and then him dealing with depression and stuff, and then finally, we get a little hint as to what is to come with that little creepy demon right there. So now I'm on to page 3, and page 3 isn't finished yet, but I want to try something pretty unique with this. So each of these panels is something bad happening to him. So he's running right here, and then he gets splashed by a car, and then he'll get beat up by some dudes. I basically did a rough draft of this on paper, so I know the general idea for it. I know I should probably do a different style of storyboard, but that was during the time when I wanted to do this fully physical and nothing digital, but I later realized that was going to be a little too hard, so I ended up doing this strategy. I'm really liking, instead of just having a black border, I added a little white strip, and I think that gives it a little clean cut, which makes it stand out a little bit more. But as all these bad things are going to be happening to him, he has an inner dialogue in the center. The inner dialogue says, "My tolerance for this world is starting to crumble. Each day the darkness tempts me to give in. I'm starting to think I should let it." So as you can see, Ral is slowly giving in as all these bad things are happening to him. He's already a broken character, and he just keeps getting broken. And he's starting to question if he should really still keep his sanity or if he should go towards a darker path so things could possibly change. So these are the images for page 3. I did this one on a live stream, which I was super happy about. These are all the rain puddles. Ral is running to try to get in shape, so, his neighbor Eva will like him more. And that is a car. Now, I can't draw cars for the life of me, so I just turned this into a cyber car, and I think it turned out decently good. I found that when coloring, taping down the paper is a lot more... It's better than having your hand not elevated on a sketchbook because it just doesn't... Your hand gets all irritated, and the paper will slide around, so taping it to whatever paper or surface you have just allows you to do a lot more shading and the paper won't rip or something. So this is me trying to draw the car splashing Ral, which it's very hard to do. So I hope this looks like it's like an actual splash. And then in the actual image on the comic, I put a little text there. It says splash, so I don't know if that was really necessary, but I feel like it adds a little bit of that comic-y effect to it. Now that I've shown you those panels, let me show you a few other panels of some previous work I've done. Like I said, I started off with just doing everything on one piece of paper, but then I branched off and doing individual panels onto separate pieces of paper. Also, here are all the failed attempts of me trying to draw cars and stuff that did not turn out. That one wasn't terrible, but the proportions just weren't really that right. And if you guys didn't know, I do all of the text on digital, so that's why these text bubbles are kind of blank. But here are some of the individual panels. I really like that one. That one turned out massive. But drawing hands, I learned, is extremely difficult. So I ended up just taking a picture of my own hand, which, I don't even use this anymore. I find this is kind of terrible, and, the things don't even stick. So I just find that the best hand model I have is my own hand. I can just take pictures of it. And myself with a hood on for Ral, and it works way better than any of these models. Here's another panel of Ral sitting in his bedroom, and then, oh, what's that? It's the demon. Well, I haven't specified if it's a demon yet, but yeah, it's something dark looking, and that'll come into play later. Something I found that I think I did really well is the hair on Eva. Now, I looked up just some basic shading stuff, and if you just kind of leave a streak in the middle, it turns out really well. I know her anatomy isn't crazy, especially the eye, but I think this turned out decently well. And then here's just a bunch more me trying to draw hands. That one turned out absolutely horrendous. And this one's a good panel of Ral coming in, and then that one's him coming into his doorway, kind of all shadowy, but I don't like that. Definitely going to redraw it. But that is kind of all the progress I have. Here's the desk setup. We have all the fine liners, the rulers, the tape, the water, the pencil sharpeners, the dummy, which I don't even use, eraser, and then I use this kind of pencil. But I'm thinking of, instead of using colored pencils to shade, those run out pretty quick. I'm thinking of possibly for future comics using kind of an ink, like how some manga artists do, like in Vagabond and Berserk. And I think that would just be a lot better and save me a lot more time on shading. So I would learn some new hatching techniques and stuff. That was episode 2. Let me know what you guys think. If you have any more questions, I'll be happy to release them. I think episode 3 is going to be me diving into a bit of the lore on Ral and getting you guys hyped for the comic. I'm probably going to be selling this on Amazon or Webtoons or webcomics or something. I have no idea what webcomics is really about yet, so I have to do some more research. Again, this is my first comic, but just learning about making comics and manga in general has been super fun, and I love all these awesome YouTube videos. And I can't wait to make my own video on how you guys can make your own comic. But first, I got to put in the work, publish an actual comic before I do that, and then you guys can kind of learn as we go. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you in the next Epic Underworlds video.